Meowdy, Konnichiwa, Corolla, all that stuff. Fachi! Thank you for gifting a sub to Fishtel. Oh man. I'm watching you. But hello! A little EP. I'm sure that'll be great for solving crime. But yeah. Honestly, it's really good to be back for this. Yeah, don't just cut yourself off. Oh man. New day, who dis? Exactly. Who am I? That's a good question. EP. But let me think. Not really much housekeeping stuff. Just kind of. Oh hey, I made new emotes. yeah, you see them. Is it blip time or no? It's Twitch notifs have failed ya. This time, I swear the blip has not happened. I'm just late, as usual. Then again, this is also not my usual day of streaming, but like, eh. Apache, do we need to have an intervention? Don't do this again. You don't have to. Thank you, but like, wait. Oh, good. I'm so glad alerts don't work. Twitch can't stop you. Twitch apparently can stop you. There's like a cap on it or something. Are we doing this again? I hope not. Save your money. It's not worth it. But last we left off, it was huh. Good question. Oh, well, something dramatic. What was happening? Oh, yeah. Pulling in, yeah, don't pull out objects that are keeping the blood in your body. That's the thing. That's the tip. So. Man, imagine remembering the rest of this case. I think there was a beach or something. I hear that kills people. Exactly. Pulling out your vein. Okay, I think if you pull out your whole veins, I guess technically the blood hasn't left where it's supposed to. But like, it's already left. The veins have left where they're supposed to. So like, technically the blood has, right? It's a very square rectangle situation.
This is why yokels should stay on the farm. Even a quack from some obscure mountain village would have such basic knowledge.
You've been bothering the gates thrice? I'm so sorry for the loss of your sleep.
Anyone who's ever given someone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again, no.
In what situation have you done this? For the record, I personally have never given anyone a little poke with a knife and pulled it out again. Is this a normal behavior that people do? I don't think so. Can I get him arrested? It sounds like he just admitted to something. Maybe in 1899. I don't know. Ah, the only suspect is Sasato's friend, despite the fact that there were, in fact, other people on that beach. All right. Oh, right. Yeah, and my main suspect was the journalist that's hanging around behind Soseki, because the guy has like blue ink on his hand for like no reason. He like never washed his hand between then and the court today for some reason. Oh, well, I've never stabbed anyone, you see, or pulled a blade out of a wound, so... Of course you haven't. I didn't bring you up to behave like a bandit. Father, is it true what they're telling me? Yes, it's basic remedial knowledge for medics. Ray would have been well aware of it. He ran into my knife. 10 times. Oh, yeah, that'll hold up in court. Actually, it might hold up in this court. To be perfectly fair. Smudging the ink to erase what he wrote? I don't know. It's weird that he hasn't washed his hands in between. Your knife was just attracted to him. Oh no! The guy was a super magnet? Electromagnet? If she were to claim ignorance of such fundamentals, that would prove fatal in many ways.
But then, why would Ray have done it? Could she have pulled out that knife in full knowledge that it would be fatal for Miss Brett?
Oh god, there's so many knives. I don't know.
Ray never once mentioned anything about the knife to me. It seems almost impossible to believe, but... could my friend actually have...
Susato!
Yes?
Pull yourself together. We mustn't lose sight of why we're here.
You see, he wanted a painkiller, so you had to kill the pain. I don't know if that's an accepted medical practice. But, like, I guess I'm not a medic.
Counsel, it's time for your cross-examination. Oh, yes, Your Excellency. However, I must warn you that if your cross-examination fails to identify any issue with the established facts, I will be moving to my adjudication immediately afterwards.
As per the usual. You gotta always have those stakes up.
I understand.
Believing in your client and fighting for their cause until the bitter end. I knew it would be hard, but I had no idea it would be this hard. We don't have the chance to sway the jury, you're right! It's okay, we can sway the turtle instead. That'll make all the difference. I think.
Pulling a blade from a wound without thinking could cause heavy bleeding. That's basic knowledge that any medical research assistant with an ounce of sense ought to know. In other words, there's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. Let's not forget that the young student did have a motive for killing the victim. The man the victim murdered 9 months ago, Dr. Wilson, was the defendant's highly respected mentor.
Okay. No, we're not looking at the baby again! The baby hasn't even shown up in this game!
This is hopeless.
Oh, this is hopeless. I can't find a single crack in this testimony anywhere. If Ray knew that withdrawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life further, I just can't think of any way to explain why she did it.
Susato, it's at times like these when it's especially important to remember the fundamentals.
The fundamentals?
Evidence is what counts in the courtroom, isn't it?
Of course! But I've been through the court record dozens of times already.
I think perhaps you're forgetting something, though. You needn't take the evidence at face value. You can and must examine it in greater detail to—
I tried! You didn't let me! Ah!
I realize this is your first time playing the role of lawyer in the courtroom, so if you need reminding of the rudiments, you need only ask. I'll do my very best to help.
Examine the evidence in the court record. It's an idea, certainly. What should I do? I know what to do! Come to think of it, Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san were always turning evidence over and over in their hands, getting their fingerprints all over it. Yes, I need to examine things in greater detail with space!
By the look in your eyes, I see it's coming back to you. Go through the court record again and have a thorough look at everything. You may just find a clue.
Yes, I'll do it right away. Am I allowed to now? I don't know at what point— oh, now I can. Ooh, oh, that's not it. Can I examine this now? So, imagine if that stain over there is actually just ink. That'd be funny. Let's see. What should I be examining? Is there anything on the back? Is that like a bald tonic? I just see a bottle and a guy with a bald head and like an arrow or something. Fingerprints aren't real evidence yet. Oh shoot, you're right! Raucous England returnees tell all. This is the interview with you and Soseki-san, is it, father?
Is that a crack in the lens? Right, yeah, no, it would be the same journalist following him around. Did he actually... My guy, professionalism.
It looks as though it was quite an exchange.
Yes, he became a little over-animated when he was talking about his time in England. Not important? Yeah, it's about as not important as the ink on his hand. A photographer managed to capture the moment his hand karate chopped me on the neck.
I do hope you weren't hurt.
Wait, can I? No, I can't look at that.
Dang it!
Why can't I look at it? There's like a crack on the lens. That's so weird. Okay, is there anything on this page? Nope, bowl's unimportant.
I can look at the back though. This is the newspaper from Soseki-san. There seems to be an important article on the back page as well. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory.
Oh good! A deadly poison! From the Department of Poisons! Where Brett worked! You know, the person who was... accused of murdering someone with poison 9 months ago.
From Yume's Medical Research. Father, isn't that your lab?
What the? Let me see that. The poison's been... How do you not know? The poison's been stolen!
It's this morning's paper that Soseki-san gave us. Are you saying you didn't know?
As embarrassing as that is for the head of the laboratory, I didn't. I've not heard of any such thing. Where on earth could the reporter have gleaned this information?
Come to think of it, there was no article mentioning this story in our paper this morning, was there?
It's a highly toxic poison we've been working on in the strictest confidence. Something called Kurare, I'm sure. I put Rei in charge of the project.
Rei? She was managing it.
If what's written here is true, it means that she tried to hide the theft from me. And moreover, the details were leaked somehow.
I don't believe it.
We need to read this article very carefully. Okay. Am I allowed to read the article very carefully? No. Yes. Yes, I can. Okay, following a lecture at Yume by Soseki Natsume on the 11th of August, it's come to light that a very disturbing incident took place. A deadly poison being secretly developed in the university's forensic science laboratory was stolen. Even the smallest amount entering the body, either via the mouth or via a wound from a poison-laced blade, would prove fatal in minutes. Might not be Kurare then, because Kurare, I think the whole thing with the last case was that, like 9 months ago, was that if you didn't have wounds on the inside of your body, you could technically ingest it safely. Sorta. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. Such symptoms would be suggestive of this toxin. It's apparently an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids and rumored to have been commissioned by the military. Huh. Well. Ooh, pupil constriction. That's so weird. I can't really do anything about it. This isn't Edgeworth. I can't just connect these two things because logic is illegal. But yeah, it's literally just contraction of the pupils. Okay. I mean, impaired breathing, there was a knife in her lungs, so I think she'd have trouble breathing regardless. Intensify. Oh, I can finally look at the pen!
The RM initials are very clearly engraved here.
And the fact that Miss Brett was clinging to this pen in her dying moments is very clearly a message too.
To identify her killer, you mean?
I don't think there can be any doubt that this is a key piece of evidence in this case. Note how he stepped around her identifying her killer. Can I open it though? What's that?
There's some sort of emblem here, look. But it isn't a Yume University one.
Must belong to some other organization, I suppose. A business of some kind. But that would seem to imply that the pen doesn't in fact belong to Ray.
Ooh. I wonder if it has to do with the news. Oh, I can take it off. Open the pen. If we take off the pen's lid...
Okay. We got a pen. Truly. That's definitely a pen.
Now let's unscrew the barrel, shall we?
No ink or... Ooh, no ink.
This must be the little reservoir that holds the ink.
Yes, you fill it by drawing ink from a bottle up through the nib.
Is something wrong, Father?
Just that there doesn't actually appear to be any ink in there, that's all.
Oh, yes, you're right. It's pretty much empty. Well, it could be on the verge of running out, I suppose.
Okay, but ink stains, you know? I don't know if they'll actually go with that. But like, ink stains. I would not expect it to be a completely clean barrel. Apple pen? Oh god. Not the pineapple apple pen. Okay. An emblem and a small amount of... Oh wait, there is a small amount of liquid? Oh. Yeah, we don't need to worry about ink stains, I guess. We've got OxyClean. Is there anything else in here? Not really. Taste the liquid? No! It's probably blueberry flavored. Actually, blueberry's okay. Alright, I have done it straight away. Alright. I don't think it has anything to do with this. Okay, still not this. There's no good reason why the defendant would have tried to pull the knife from the victim. I mean... Poison? I don't know if that would really relate to this bit. You ruined an owlbear's life? No, you didn't. There are reasons for that. Let's not forget the young motive. Okay, maybe I should press everything. There's nothing really pertinent as of right now. Okay. You say doing it without thinking could be a problem, but what if you did it with thought? Does that mean that if you used due care and attention, it would be alright? I wouldn't have thought this needed spelling out, really, but the blade is like a stopper in the wound. Remove it and a serious hemorrhage will occur. In other words, a medic would need to be present before any attempt was made to withdraw the blade. Doing it without thinking would be madness. You just can't do it.
But she's a medical professional.
Oh, well, thank you for such a thorough explanation.
You see, Counsel, when you act without thinking, the result is a bloodbath. I should know. I've caused a blood...
Anyway, I'm alluding to his past crimes aside.
Hello!
Does he have a turtle on his head? Does who have a turtle on his head? The owlbear? Probably not. Back to the witness testimony, please. That dollop is not... No, not at all. I'm just trying to ignore it at this point. I really don't think it is this statement, but I'm gonna press everything. In that case, there's an obvious explanation here. Which is... Clearly, the defendant, Rei Mamami-san, does not possess an ounce of sense. No, girl! What do you think about that, Professor Mikotoba? I'm not sure that you should be labeling your best friend as lacking in common sense.
Well, I thought it would be better than labeling her as a murderer.
Ah, the insanity pleading. Gotcha.
I don't know, young people today. If that's friendship, I don't understand it.
Careful, Counsel. A lack of common sense can be a very dangerous thing. He's not gonna slam the desk with that. He's gonna slam my head with that.
Oh dear. That recoiled on me rather badly.
That's life, I'm afraid. Lesson everyone must learn. My god. Hopefully you can see now that this is really basic medical knowledge. Being involved in medical research, Membami-san would certainly have been aware of it.
Hold it!
But the defendant had suddenly encountered somebody she knew lying on the ground, bleeding to death. The sight could have shocked her delicate sensibilities, causing her to remove the blade inadvertently. I really don't think inadvertent actions can explain this. The woman is a medical research assistant. I can't imagine she would behave so irrationally. Oh, but... This is not what I expected from you! Oh, but irrational behavior is a woman's prerogative, isn't it? Yeah? Uh-huh. Man, I can't believe that Utano is a bit of a... Okay. Bit of a bigot, alright. Oh dear, you have a lot to learn about women. Hosonaga? Kinda based? Only a small-minded man could have such bigoted views. Hosonaga? Kinda based?
Oh dear. Perhaps I'm letting my male persona take hold a little too much.
Well, have I managed to convey the basics now? That should cover the medical side of the argument. I feel like if I had actually pressed these things in, like, in canon, I would have been thrown out of this courtroom. It does indeed take place in the past, but I don't know. It seems like it's not agreed. Agreed with, rather. Or Hosonaga is just based.
Hold it!
He does have a turtle on his head, so he has a point. Whatever the motive, it just isn't in Membami-san's nature to do something so awful. But she had both motive and opportunity. It's very hard to argue against. But you don't know the defendant.
Objection!
And you, counsel, do not appear to know the law.
Yes, evidence is the only way to convince the court of your argument, not feelings.
With this fledgling to defend her, I would almost say I pity the accused.
I mean, she did just call her, like, insane, no sense, and a woman, God forbid.
So do I.
Inspector, you will reiterate your point about the defendant's motive, please. Ah, yes, Miss Brett was in many ways the sworn enemy of Membami-san. Oh man, there's like nothing to work with.
Hold it!
Well, yes, that's true. Dr. Wilson recognized Membami-san's talent and offered her the position of assistant despite her being a woman. She was extremely grateful to him. Yes, the Englishman appears to have been a very broad-minded individual. Just like Hosonaga. Dr. Wilson had no time for, outdated traditions. Yo, kinda based. Let's go. He met with opposition, of course, but he believed firmly in Membami-san's abilities. Clearly, the defendant was in the man's debt, which only serves to prove my point. Oh good, nothing.
This is hopeless. I can't find a single crack in this testimony anywhere. If Ray knew that withdrawing the knife from the wound would threaten Miss Brett's life further, I just can't think of any way to explain why she did it.
The poison, I guess? Even then, though, I don't know. The poison would have already entered her system, so it's kind of a lose-lose. She dies no matter what. Susato, it's at times like these when it's especially— oh god, are you saying this? Ah, I saw this! I know! I'm sorry, I didn't— ah! This feels passive-aggressive. This feels passive-aggressive now. I'm sorry, Dad. Ugh. I'm not a kid anymore, Dad. Alright. It's probably this statement. So, not you. Wait, where's the thing about the poison? Maybe it is this one. Yeah, this one. Cool. Yeah, I don't think that taking out the poison would have worked here, but I mean, fair enough.
Objection!
Oh! I would have thought that would be too loose a connection, actually. No, there is one possibility. One very good reason why the defendant might have decided to withdraw the knife from the victim's wound. What?
Oh, the turtle doesn't look surprised. I was hoping it would.
Oh my god, you have a screech. Dad being passive-aggressive because Santa's revealing how much she hates her friend. No!
Ha! The yokel not only has a poor grasp of the law, but is also a poor loser. Tell us then, what possibility do you think you've identified?
It's here, in this newspaper article. An article about a deadly poison having been stolen from a laboratory at the Imperial Yume University.
The victim perished from a stab wound. Poison has no relevance in this case.
No, it does. But... Prosecutor Aochi, you will let the defense speak.
But a newspaper article? The court cannot rely on that kind of hearsay those wretched publications carry. I've never read a newspaper article in my life.
Counsel for the defense. I'm going to need some tangible basis for your claim. You will indicate to the court precisely what part of the newspaper article mentioned affirms your assertion.
Your Excellency!
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Ray would never have done something to further endanger Miss Brett's life without just cause.
The reason why the defendant pulled the knife from the victim's body is explained in the article where it says... Oh shoot, I didn't look at the titles. Hold on. Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen. Probably not this one. Deadly in tiny quantities. Probably this one. Like, okay, why is the poison being developed? This one, I feel like is gonna be later just to connect this to the case. But it's probably this one for right now. Don't jump too ahead of the gun. The article reveals the following property about the poison in question. When the toxin enters the body on a knife laced with the poison, it's rapidly absorbed and causes death in minutes. Are you suggesting... If the knife used to attack Miss Brett was laced with this very poison, it would explain why the defendant, Menbami-san, would have withdrawn the blade as soon as possible. Yes, the truth is... It was an attempt to stop the poison from entering the victim's body. What? Man, poison just has to do with all of these, huh?
This is complete and utter nonsense!
Not at all. The defendant withdrew the life blade from the victim's body not to accelerate the woman's demise. Well, it did, but to save her life, and the prosecution cannot deny the possibility.
Have you not read the post-mortem report? The cause of death was hemorrhage. The word poison appears nowhere in the document.
Well, that's... Girl, it's on the same page. It's an undetectable poison. That's because by acting quickly to remove the blade, the defendant prevented the Girl, it's undetectable! Read! Well, oh my god. Does becoming a lawyer just get rid of your brain cells? Is that what happens? She used to have the brain cells. She used to be the one that would look through the book and be like, hold on, Naruhodo-san. If you take out the blade, or if you look at this page, the poison is in fact undetectable. Dang.
Objection!
Oh, please. This is clearly desperation. The weasel's last breaking of wind.
Oh, don't word it like that.
Poison has nothing whatsoever to do with this case, as I believe the defense is well aware. We have no proof that the information in this wretched newspaper article is at all reliable anyway.
Maybe it's the hair dollop? Oh shoot, maybe it gives us a debuff, you're right. In that situation, what the student should have done is wait for medical assistance to arrive. But instead, you claim she suspected poisoning and took the potentially lethal decision to remove the blade. She must have had a strong reason for her suspicions then, or the argument makes no sense. We love Hosonaga! He's willing to believe us! See, the way he put it, he's willing to believe us. Aochi just doesn't.
Exactly! Well put, Inspector. On what grounds did she do it, yokel? did Ray suspect the stolen poison was involved?
Because of the eye contraction. If you want grounds, I'll give you grounds. Throws coffee residue at you. What?
You can't possibly.
I love this theme. From your expression, Counsel, it would appear those are not empty words. But, naturally, as you stand in this courtroom as a lawyer, you must be aware that words alone, empty or not, are of no value in our modern justice system. The court demands evidence. Yes, Your Excellency.
I'm well aware of that. I've seen it many times, from my place at his side in the Old Bailey.
In that case, Counsel, you will present the proof to the court now. What evidence demonstrates a clear link between this case and the poison in the newspaper article? So, like, it's still the article, right? Okay, there's two pieces of evidence involved, and I don't know which one I need to present. I'm assuming this one, because it's mentioning the newspaper article, and I can't use the newspaper article to connect to the newspaper article, so it'd have to be this one.
Look, she has her little book!
I would ask the court to refer to the notes section of the postmortem report, which reads, extreme meiosis. Pupil constriction was observed in the victim. Ah. Clearly, being a yokel with no knowledge of forensic science, I have no idea, so please do tell me. Presumably, the fact that this condition of the victim was noted in the postmortem report means that it's an unusual symptom of death.
Well...
Under normal circumstances, the pupils dilate when someone dies. If there was extreme constriction instead, that's most certainly unusual, yes. Sometimes multiple pieces of evidence? Really? I feel like I haven't seen that happen. Although, in this case, if I had presented the newspaper article, I'd get it if they said it was wrong.
What are you doing, you yokel detective?
Ooh, did I upgrade? Am I a detective now? In the newspaper article, there's the following information about the stolen poison. Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes, ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death.
What?
If the defendant, upon seeing the victim stabbed in the back, happened to notice that the pupils of Miss Brett's eyes had constricted severely. Yes, as a medical research assistant, she would have suspected poison immediately, without doubt. Prosecutor Ouchie, I think you'll agree, this is very compelling evidence.
You! Yokel student and yokel professor!
Isn't he a professor at, like, a really well-renowned university? What do you mean, yokel? Okay. I believe the defense has expertly demonstrated a credible reason for the defendant's actions.
No!
Eugene Mikotoba. Yes, Your Excellency. I believe you are best placed here to confirm or deny the veracity of the defense counsel's argument. You will tell the court the truth about the details reported in this newspaper, please. It pains me to have to admit it, but I'm afraid I don't know. You don't know? The toxin was kept under lock and key in my laboratory, certainly, but I was unaware of any theft. Do you mean to tell the court that the reports of this theft are unfounded? No, Your Excellency. Without returning to the laboratory to investigate myself, I couldn't say.
Listen to the bumbling academic!
I'm gonna dropkick you.
Unaware of the theft of secret state research from his own workplace until he reads of it in the newspaper.
I take full responsibility for the incompetence of my supervision.
Father. A pitiful situation for a university professor. you should have more control over your students, rather than allowing them off on killing sprees.
That's totally unfounded. Who? Is it Ray? I feel like it's Ray. There we go. Because Soseki-san! None of this is Professor Mikotoba's fault. It's all my fault. Ray. Remember, Nisan, you stand accused here. Outbursts like this will not be tolerated. Its hair looks like a cinnamon roll. Don't eat it. I bet it tastes terrible. But it was me. I was the one who noticed that the poison we were developing had been stolen that day. What? So you knew? I'd been placed in charge of overseeing the project. It was the day that the professor and Soseki-san were interviewed together for the newspaper. That's when I noticed that some of the poison was missing. Just a tiny amount it was. Why didn't you let me know immediately? I was scared. The whole project was supposed to be confidential, but some of the toxin had somehow been taken. So, I decided I'd try to get it back before anyone else found out. Because I had a very good idea who the thief was. The thief? You don't mean... Yes, of course. It was that dainty English woman. Miss Giselle Brett. That's why I decided to join the little group of people going to the seaside. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable. Yeah, that sounds in character. I know it was you who stole the poison!
Well now, whatever do you mean?
And then... she suddenly got to her feet, before falling to her knees in front of me and collapsing on the floor. That's when I saw the knife in her back. I couldn't understand what had just happened. And then, a moment later, I was seized with fear. The pupils of her eyes they shrunk to tiny pinpoints. I don't believe it. In other words, you realized the victim was suffering the effects of the stolen poison. She just decided to eat the poison again, trying to prove a point. My mind started racing. I hadn't seen anything past Miss Brett's lips whilst I'd been with her. Which left only one possible way for the poison to have entered her body. On the blade of the knife in her back. And that train of thought was what spurred you to withdraw the blade. Yes. If the amount that had entered her bloodstream was small enough, she might still have a chance. That's what I hoped. Really, I'm so sorry for staying silent all this time. Your attempt to hide the truth of what happened is not something that can be overlooked. However, I have duly noted the courage with which you confessed in the end. Thank you, Your Excellency. It's barely perceptible, but I do think the balance has shifted a little here, in this courtroom now.
Objection!
Your Excellency, do not be deceived. The victim just collapsed before your eyes, you say? Well, Menbami-san, if that is the case, perhaps you could explain how Miss Brett came to be stabbed.
Well,
You have no answer because the simple truth is that you stabbed the victim motivated by revenge.
Objection!
But you have no conclusive evidence to prove that assertion, do you? I swear, if he... Oh, but I do! It's just up my butt.
Oh, I have evidence, and it is very much conclusive. It's why I never presented it until now.
What's up with that guy on the right? Oh, Soseki-san? He's having a moment. Don't worry about him.
What's the prosecution counsel up to?
Oh, I think we're back. I see the 8 ball is on my side. Blippi is in fact not innocent. Also, I forgot about my tea. It has just been sitting in front of me. It's because there's been so much tea on screen.
Okay. It was brief, but he hesitated for a moment there. I'm almost sure of it.
You will produce the aforementioned evidence at once, Professor Alchi.
Perhaps some praise is due, young yokel student.
What?
I had imagined there would be no need for me to submit this evidence. But you've brought this on yourself.
Yeah? You decided not to show this one? What the?
Could a more damning shot exist? The cruelty in the air on that beach is almost palpable.
I mean, it could be when she was removing the knife, but okay. Also, I noticed the crack on the photograph. Not that I can do anything with it yet, but like, you know.
This evidence, more than any other, reveals the true extent of the accused's murderous nature.
Also, you know, the fact that the picture exists at all means that there was someone taking a picture in that spot. I'm just saying. Like, I think that's what it's proving here. Also. Wait, was he actually in the dress? That looks like the perspective. No shot, he was in the dress.
For it shows the precise moment that Membami-san plunged her dagger into the victim's back.
No, that's not true. No! I don't believe it. Yeah, it's when she removed it. We established that she removed the knife, so... Order! Order! Oh, is it out of sync? Oh no. Wait. Oh no, I don't know what to do about that. Huh? Oh. It isn't? Okay. Huh. Well, maybe Blippi found its way into your house. Counsel for the defense, was it you who was responsible for that shrill scream that just pierced my courtroom? No?
Perhaps his voice is yet to break. These yokels are slow of mind and slow to mature. I'll show you who's slow to mature.
Pulls out sword. Careful now. Susato is starting to show her face here. Oh, is it because I'm about to flip him? And a Susato takedown would be very recognizable. It is often said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And here we have ample proof. The court will accept this extremely cogent photographic print as evidence. Okay, but like... Y'all are aware that the fact that the photograph was taken means that someone else was there, right? Right? No? Man, how do I even prove that?
I can't believe he's had a photograph like that up his sleeve the entire time. It's such a stark image, I'm genuinely lost for words.
Who is the photographer? The guy who's been, following around Soseki. Because, like, that's the guy who has ink on his hand, it's the same photo, like, crack on the lens from the, interview picture as well. It's the same guy. Wait a minute, I don't understand. How did you... I mean, who took that photograph? Oh good, we have one person who has sense. I see it's whoever is wearing a kimono. Actually no, Shomes and Iris as well, It's whoever is not the lawyer.
Ray,
Objection!
that's of no importance here. Stop trying to divert attention.
No, that's really important.
Oh.
No, you're right. Ray, you're so right. That's an absurd thing to say. It's crucially important. Whoever took this photographic print was a witness to Miss Brett's death. The court must be allowed to hear this person's testimony. Witness, more like person who threw the knife. I will uphold the defense's demand. The prosecution will reveal the identity of the person responsible for taking this photograph at once.
It was me. Well, I'm afraid I can't do that.
Pardon?
You see, this print arrived at the Imperial Police Bureau headquarters by express post yesterday. But there was nothing to indicate the sender's name or address. The provenance of the print is unknown.
Oh, that's why he didn't want to use it. Okay. Goodness. Are we to understand then, Counsel, that in full knowledge of the fact that this photograph has the murkiest of origins, you nevertheless believed it fit for submission as evidence in the Supreme Court? When you first produced that print before, I noticed that you hesitated for a brief moment. Because you knew that it wasn't completely reliable evidence, didn't you?
Silence, you yokel student and blabbering professor! What matters is the blatant truth that this print so eloquently expresses.
But the defendant has already admitted to pulling the blade from the wound. Okay, I'm glad that we have the common sense and we don't even have to prove this bit. Clearly, this isn't the moment that the knife was plunged into the victim's back, but
The moment it was withdrawn. Don't waste this court's time with your ramblings.
indeed, without knowledge of who produced this print, we have no means of verifying the claim. And the scene it captures is without doubt the most compelling evidence presented to the court. Okay, but like, the fact that it's not verifiable is like kind of sus, right? I know that Photoshop isn't a thing yet, but like, I don't know. If the defense is unable to shed any further light on the matter, I believe the conclusion is clear. Oh no. Susato, this is the time for you to fight. If what you've established so far is true, then there can be no doubt. This photograph shows the moment that Ray withdrew the blade from the victim.
Yes, we just need to prove that somehow. You'll have plenty of time to rue your defeat on the slow train back to the provinces. And to rue the day you came up against Taketsuchi Aoji in a court of law.
If I can't determine who took this photograph, then the trial is going to come to an end. There must be a clue somewhere. There must be some way of working out who took it. It's the crack on the lens. Well, Counsel, take out Kazuma's katana. Oh well, Naruhodo-san has it, and that's in England. Is that actually Giselle Brett's face? Apparently. Your Excellency, the burning question is who took that photograph. And the truth is, I know, it's the... Am I allowed to know this answer? Am I not supposed to know this answer? I know who it is. This isn't about whether I can or can't come up with the answer now. I simply have to. But I know what it is. The identity of the person who took this dramatic photographic print is, I assure you, something the defense can and will reveal.
Well, no, you can't possibly. But as you so boldly claim that you can, please do enlighten us.
Unfortunately, I'm unable to present a name.
How utterly underwhelming. Did you really believe that
However, I am able to present evidence. The defense is a piece of evidence that reveals important details about the photographer's identity.
What?
Very well then, Counsel. Present your proof to the court. Which piece of evidence do you claim reveals something about the identity of the mystery photographer? Photographer. Okay. It's right here. It's this. I keep clicking the wrong button.
Take that!
It's this. What is that? The newspaper again?
Newspapers, I have found, have been really great ways to prolong a trial. I guess the integrity of the press is, like, just really good. Except for this one time.
Raucous England returnees tell all.
It's not the headline that's relevant here, Your Excellency. It's the photograph. If you look at it closely, you'll notice that there are some white lines on the right-hand side.
Oh, yes, indeed. They had already caught my eye, as it happens.
What of it? A shadow of some kind, presumably, from the branches of a tree or the like.
There are no trees growing inside my laboratory at the university, I can assure you.
Burn. Now, if you look closely at this photograph. Dun, dun, dun!
Good gracious!
Yes, exactly the same pattern of lines is present on this photograph too. I forget that photographs are like kind of a new thing in this era. So like, I know instinctively that that's just a crack on the lens, but like, I guess they wouldn't know that, yeah. Prison uniform? No, apparently that's just all of their swimsuits. I guess they had a swimsuit uniform?
Objection!
Business casual.
Well, that tells us nothing. Yes, it's a shadow of some kind, definitely from the branches of a tree.
It was a beach. There wouldn't be any trees growing inside a hut at the beach council.
What's quite remarkable about it is that the two patterns are absolutely identical. How could such an extraordinary similarity have transpired?
The curious matching pattern that appears on both photographic prints is a result of... Obviously, it must be due to a problem with the camera used to take the photographs.
With the photographic device?
Yes, we can confidently say that the camera's lens must be scratched. And that the scratched lens causes unwanted lines to appear on every print taken with the device.
In short, the two photographs under consideration here were taken with the same camera.
There must be hundreds of such camera devices here in the capital. It would be utterly impossible to identify the owner of this particular one.
Objection!
I think you're forgetting, Prosecutor Algie, that one of the photographs featured in a newspaper article.
A newspaper? Ah! I don't read those!
That's right. The author of that article is the mystery witness to this crime.
Ah! Ah!
Yeah, it's a little bit more than... Menimemo? What was that? I mean, I know the guy's in the room with us. But also, Menimemo?
I see why you were called a Raucous England returnee.
What? Menimemo? What is that supposed to be? Okay.
What are you yelling about? You've already testified!
Huh?
It's Menimemo, I tell you! Menimemo! Menimemo!
What? He doesn't say anything anymore. He's been reduced to a Pokemon. Oh no! Soseki-san, what was that? Did you say Menimemo?
Ever since I returned to Japan, a reporter from the Shoyu News has been hounding me, following my every move. A reporter by the name of Raiten Menimemo. Yes, hounding me from dawn till dusk.
Raiten Menimemo. Is it like writing in my memo? Writing many memos? Writing many memo. Huh. Ah, now that he mentions it.
Literally the blue ink. Come on, y'all. I can't see the crack on the lens, though. They secretly spy, snapshots, scribble stories, and scupper my privacy.
Could that same reporter be...
A camera to the left of him, a notebook to the right. There I am, stuck in the middle with Brighton Menimemo. So you're saying that this picture was taken by Menimemo, yes, by Lord, Your Excellency, Esquire. Officer, find this newspaper reporter at once and bring him to my courtroom. Isn't he already here? We will adjourn for a short recess in the meantime. Oh, yes, Your Excellency.
As you say, Your Excellency.
And one more thing. I want this knife, the murder weapon, examined for traces of poison. But you can't! It's not... Okay. Well, you heard the judge. We're on break right now. We're taking a short recess. They're not gonna find anything on that blade.
Because there's no way to find it.
But... yeah, I think the timing was really funny. So, we're gonna take a short recess and be right back. I bid you adieu for the next 3 minutes. Don't stab you. Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna leave this knife on screen. And you guys are gonna be very responsible with this knife that's on screen right now, right? Right?
Alright, be right back. hello.
I guess I took a little bit too long. Whoops. Alrighty. So I hope you all were responsible with the knife. Right? No one in chat has mysteriously vanished. Feed the knife to chat. No! We're not getting rid of evidence. You have multiple stab wounds, but you aren't dead, which means you weren't stabbed with this knife. I take no responsibility for other knives.
Meh. 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 Menimemo!
Meh. Just screen cap that. Teleports behind you. There's something really satisfying about having them in the first and second slot, respectively. Anyway. Okay. Short recess. Have I tried putting them in baby jail? Well, we're trying to get them convicted so we can put them in baby jail. I'm so sorry, Susato. I should have told you about the toxin. Ray. You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. That's why you decided to shoulder the burden alone.
No, that's not it at all. I was scared of my failure coming to light. That's all.
Honestly, that's kind of the more honorable thing to say. Wait, oh wait, that's David. How high? No, I'm not in this game I don't have a high enough level to cast that.
So I had hoped to retrieve the substance from the Englishwoman before anyone found out. Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Susato? That you had no doubt in your mind about my innocence. That you'd stand by me to the last. I remember. And then you called me insane. And a woman.
Oh, that did happen.
Yeah, hello. And yet, I didn't deserve your trust in me. I hid important details from you, Susato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Hit me, Susato! I deserve it! No, in fact, throw me to the floor!
Is this how she practiced her Susato takedown?
No, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets! I'm no better, you know. Oh. I did engage in misogyny. Even though in my heart, I knew that you'd pulled the knife blade from Miss Brett's back. There was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you. Susato. I'm sorry. After I stood here and promised you that I'd stand by you and always be on your side, I betrayed your faith in me too. And as such, I failed you as a lawyer. And as your roommate.
Well, classmate, I guess.
Oh, no.
I think this situation has taught both of you a valuable lesson. Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task.
Yes, Father. That fact has certainly struck home. Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, pray. Yes? Can you find it in your heart to forgive me? Oh, Susato. You know you'll always be a gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now. Oh, Ray.
So, like, let's go, lesbians? Let's go? Dashing. Gallant. These are definitely terms you use to refer to your friend, and only your friend.
I was so scared, you know, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. The English woman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. I know it was you who stole the poison! Well now, whatever do you mean? And then, a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back. Oh, Susato, I never knew you were such a misogynist.
Yeah, low-key, what was up with that comment?
It all happened right before my eyes.
Susato isn't interested? I don't know.
And you were the only people in the hut at the time. That's right. Just Miss Bread and myself. There was no one else. The Ray Awakening! So I just don't understand how she could possibly have been stabbed like that.
Great mystery indeed. Well, you know, I think it's well, we got a picture-perfect way for someone to have done it, who had an opening, who was able to shoot someone. Good aim. I don't know. I'm just saying, they were able to get a really clear picture.
I still can't believe it happened. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up. It will be alright. However it happened, and whatever really went on by the sea that day, I promise you that I'm going to prove everything you said you saw is true. I'm gonna gaslight them if it isn't.
Spoken like a true Mikotoba. Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in this trial, don't you? Naruhodo's, oh yeah, because Phoenix Wright has to come from somewhere? I don't know. Maybe he does have cousins. Alternatively, surrogates, there are ways. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that Naruhodo is over Kazuma. He's still carrying his sword around, you know? We must make sure we have our facts in order. I just realized I didn't read that one.
Yes, I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings.
Too bad it's not something you can examine, because there's no way to test for it!
But that's fine. The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now. The trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory-synthesized blend of alkaloids.
Oh, good! We're bringing this up! Oh no, we're bringing this up.
The police won't have any way of testing for it. Oh, I see.
Yes, without this chemical reagent that I just happen to have on me, it's impossible to detect the toxin. Give it to them! Just let them use it!
Chemical reagent?
I sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver it to police headquarters. Oh, okay, good. I think perhaps you should have some as well, though, just in case.
The chemical reagent has been entered into the court record.
Hey! Y'all wanna bet that that's the thing that's in the pen? Cause it kinda looks like an ink bottle, I won't lie. That's just my crazy theory based on the shape of this freaking bottle. Anyway, beside the point, don't drink it! That's chemicals! That's a reagent, don't drink that. What's the matter, Susato? You're suddenly very quiet.
It's this newspaper article. Exclusive! Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. I'm wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret.
Also, like, the specifics of how the poison works in the first place, right?
It was all the English woman's doing! What? It was when the professor and Soseki-san were being interviewed at the laboratory. That so-called English lady swanned in.
Swanned in.
And without any compunction said to Professor Mikotoba, Professor, surely your guest would love to hear about your work on that substance there.
It put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. But Soseki-san's curiosity had been piqued, so I had little choice but to give him a cursory introduction.
So then, Soseki-san knew about the poison.
Yes, and it's highly likely that the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin too.
This Menimemo-san. By the way, did that reporter join you all when you went to the beach? Oh, no, I don't remember the reporter being there.
Yeah, apparently, legally, if someone brings something up, then you have to talk about it. Beach episode? Little bit of a deadly one, but yeah, kind of beach episode.
Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone would have wanted him there.
Yeah, huh. Given that camera plus changing room is not a great idea.
Oh?
A known criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside. Soseki-san pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office.
And he was so bitter that he wasn't invited to the beach episode that he murdered a person.
Yet he obviously didn't go back. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took this very candid photograph. And then presumably he posted it, anonymously, to the police.
Yes, that must be what happened. Counsel! We've just heard that the new witness is now ready to testify. The trial is about to resume. Please proceed into the courtroom at once. It's time to steel our resolves once again, then. Defense attorney, Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Yes. Rei has put her faith in me now, and told me everything. So, I can't let her down. I have to prove that what she's telling the court is true. I have to prove what really happened that day.
So, like, again, can we not use the fact that the photograph exists at all? That, like, someone else was in the hut at the time of the... Okay. Then again, we are calling him as a witness, so, like, the moment we put some holes in there, it'll be... He sunk. Literally. And figuratively. And metaphorically. And analogously?
I hereby call this court to order, as we reconvene to continue the trial of Rei Menmami. Prosecutor Aochi, have you summoned the new witness?
No. Before I address that question, Your Excellency, I have some very important news to share.
Oh,
What news? And why does he look so happy about it?
During the recess of the collaboration of Professor Mikotoba's laboratory at Yume University, the police re-examined the knife that was used to end Miss Giselle Brett's life.
Oh no, was there no poison on there? Well, that means that she ate it.
excellent. I admire your rapid handling of the matter.
Oh, too kind, Your Excellency, too kind. I was merely carrying out your instructions, of course.
I had the reagent delivered to the police headquarters by rickshaw, so would be there in good time. But judging by the man's swagger, I fear we might need to brace ourselves for the inevitable.
Konnichiwa.
And, counsel, what were the results?
This dagger, which was so cruelly used to end the life of the victim, has no trace of poison anywhere along its blade. Do you know where it could have been? In the pen.
What? Are you sure about that?
I would stake the reputation of the police on it.
Okay, no, this isn't the police force that in the previous game. This is a different one.
But, like, I'm just saying, I don't know if there's much of a reputation to wager here.
On the other hand, just because there isn't poison on the knife doesn't mean that she didn't think that there wasn't poison involved. Like, it's a fair assumption to think that it was on the knife, so her pulling out the knife is still just kind of her belief that
there was poison on it. Doesn't matter if there actually was. Armed with the reagent, the test is extremely simple. I couldn't have made a mistake. Yeah, so she drank it, or it was on the pen. I think it was on the pen.
In short, the accused's feeble excuse earlier has been utterly destroyed. Tap. Now the prosecution is ready to call the new witness, or news witness.
Ah, the newspaper reporter, who managed to capture a photograph of the crucial moment. Good. Believe me, we won't need the dagger having poison on the blade to cut you. Very well, officer. Bring in the witness.
No trace of poison on the knife. But if that's really the case, then where did the poison come from? How could the toxin have entered the victim's body?
I mean, proving a point and ate the poison again. She's done that before. But also, let's be real. Who's that handsome fellow on the defense counsel's side? Oh, you know, that's just Ryutaro Naruhodo, Naruhodo's cousin. Definitely cousin. Absolutely. Definitely not a disguise.
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
Man needs to bathe. Right, and Menimemo of the Shoyu News. I'm what people like to call a journo.
What's a journo? Father, do you know?
It's simply a contraction of journalist.
I'm there when the news breaks, putting pen to paper to catch these scoops so they're in print the next morning.
What are you doing?
They don't call me the hero of the Herald for nothing, the nice guy of news.
Oh, don't call yourself that.
Oh, so... it was you who took this photograph, was it?
Well, what have we here? Hey, so, like, we see the pen symbol, right? Yeah, look, the logo that was on the pen, that's so weird. I'm sorry? Why do you have the Wild West theme? Like, that whistle is very Western sounding. And I don't mean West as in England, I mean West as in ye howdy.
Oh, brace yourselves, people! Menimemo senses a scoop in the offing. Female student up to foul play, defended by curiously handsome young lawyer in Supreme Court.
Are you hitting on me? Journey to the West? More like journo to the West. Okay.
The readers will lap this up. We'll set it above the fold at 72 point in a 5-like format for the morning edition.
It's hard to keep up with it when the text is slower than you speak.
Huh? Right then. Let's start with your name.
Oh, it's Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Next, what made you want to become a lawyer?
Girl! No, don't let him take control! I wanted to reform our country's legal system, I suppose. Ryutaro has suddenly become very ambitious, I see. I just borrowed Kazuma-sama's dream for a while.
By the way, my name is Taketsuchi Aochi. That's Taketsuchi Aochi. The so-called dark horse of the Supreme Court. My objections strike fear into every defense lawyer's heart.
No, the readers won't buy that. Witness.
Yes?
What this court demands to know is whether or not you were responsible for the taking of this picture. The balding horse. Well, I mean, I don't know. He is either growing hair or has taped hair to his forehead. So, like, It was delivered anonymously to the Imperial Police Bureau only yesterday. Yeah, I wouldn't be a journo if I didn't click quick when presented with a scoop like that now, would I? When even the sketchy journalist wants nothing to do with you. Yeah. Then again, the sketchy journo was also just chilling in a beach hut where people were changing. But then again, I don't know about how the murder happened. Just some acupuncture. Yeah. It's a part of the spa treatment. It's a special package in the hut. Oh no, I'm allergic to journalists. Sometimes stories call out to me, sometimes I have to chase them down, but either way, you've got to be fast.
Thank you.
It's Sosuke's fault somehow. Fast likes to run with and a fast hand to write with, and it's no good if you don't note it down, I always say. That's what I call my minimoism.
Menimoism.
Minimoism. Menimoism? Ah, yes, I remember your face. Did you just hear a cute sneeze? Is this where I say that, like, that's how I sneeze nowadays, but, like, I made that happen when I was a kid. I used to have really loud sneezes, and then I got so, like, socially anxious about sneezing in class that I, like, made them small. That's what happened. I got so scared of interrupting class. So, yeah, now my sneezes are tiny. It used to be loud. Like, it definitely, my sneeze definitely sounded like someone just got, like, exploded out of a room or something. So I just kind of got so scared that I just kind of, like, made it tiny. Yeah! The trick is to exhale enough of your breath that, like, you don't have enough, like, you know, lung capacity to sneeze that loudly. I don't know if that's actually good for you, by the way. It could be actually very bad for you. Yeah, no, that's it! Whenever you sneeze in school, people just stare at you! So, like, that's why I made it really tiny. Then no one would look at me. Do not perceive with your eyes. Anyway. We met that day when you were interviewing myself and Sosuke-san. Yes, right, that was me! Menimemo. Oh my god, his name is gonna trip me up so much. Menimemo again! But you were supposed to be going back to the Shoyu news offices after our meeting. Are you a stalker? But the scoop is, I didn't! Because that English woman's words had piqued my journalistic interest. Miss Brett's words. A criminal left to do as she pleases just because she happens to be a British citizen. Please talk faster. It's horse dung. This country's judiciary is rotten to the core. The Supreme Court's rulings aren't worth the paper they're written on. The police are just imperial pawns.
Stay your tongue, young man. There are complex political issues at play.
I mean, I can't really blame him, but, like, also, murder's probably not the answer in this case, considering she's about to be, like, sent out. But, I mean, she would probably have been... She would have been fine. She knew she was gonna be fine. No, I get it. I get why you did it. Well, anyway, I quickly jotted down these words she said in my Menimemo memo pad. Menimemo memo pad. Did he pull out another pencil? He has one behind his ear, too. I guess I, too, would have, like, 20 pencils on me if I knew I broke them whenever I got angry. How do I know he killed someone? Listen, it's circumstantial. But, like, Soseki-san didn't do it. Hosonaga didn't do it. Upstanding? No, he's stinky. He clearly doesn't bathe because he didn't wash off the ink from yesterday. Like, he's clearly stinky at the very least. And he also stinks of crime. I can smell it. He's gonna be like, oh, I'm a journalist, why wouldn't I have ink on my hand? And I'll be like, you use pencils exclusively. Are you ready? I'll read it out, it's all here. Right, here goes. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. A serious criminal going on some junket. The people need to know about this. That's why I decided to sneak after them. You also used to carry pencils and because you wanted to be Wolverine? That's entirely valid. I think I used to carry a ton on me because I would lose them a lot. Actually, no. Okay. Here's where I... Okay. So, when I was younger, I switched to mechanical pencils. And the thing about mechanical pencils is that they're more expensive. I lose my pencils a lot. or I lost them a lot, right? And I was also the type of person, because like they were nice mechanical pencils, and like the longer you use it, the better the grip part of it was, like because the grip of it softened over time, and it was just really good. So like if I were to lose it, I would always go on these like little, like I would excuse myself to quote unquote go to the bathroom to go on an expedition to retrace my steps and find my pencil. And like I'm sure whoever was on the cameras seeing me do this like maybe every day, every other day or something, in different classes, just watching me go around, looking at the ground, looking around, peeking in classrooms, or like, I think one time, I went into like a darkened auditorium, which was locked on most of the doors except for one of them, went back to my seat, and I did find it that day, but like, I bet that person must have been having a lot of fun, realizing that I'm not doing crime, I'm just very forgetful. One time I forgot my backpack in a previous classroom. Anyway, beside the point. To get the woman's story so I could hammer her in the press.
Do you mean to say that you did indeed witness it firsthand?
You carry pens until the clicking. Yeah. I like clicking my pens too, and then I realized it was bothering people, so I stopped doing that. I just fiddled with other things in my pocket. Guarantee they were seeing how long it took me to find it. Because, like, I'm sure the first time they were like, what is this person doing? And then I'm sure I found it most of the time. And I'm sure that they realized, oh, looking for a lost thing. Great, good for them. And then it just kept happening. I'm sure they must have kept a timer at that point. Everyone would stare. Nah. Not when it's like bathroom. Not really as much. Someone stares and you click pens faster. No, that's totally fair. Okay, but rescuing that's important, you know? That's incredibly important. Oh gosh, I have lost so many things. Like, this was in college. I lost my, my earphones one time. That one made me sad. It was, they weren't that expensive, but like...
20 months. Critical subscription.
Thank you for the 20 months, Firestar! Critical subscription. And you can't be sent to the Shadow Realm. Yippee! So yeah, anyway, I'm a forgetful person. This is why I can never carry like lucky objects on me. This is why I couldn't be superstitious as a kid because I would just lose it. I would lose all of the things. So. Oh, 19. Oh, that was really close actually. Oh shoot, wait, a nat 20 did happen. Nice.
Do you mean,
yes. He saw it.
The grim scene portrayed in this photograph?
No, he was never there. The camera just took it itself. Yeah, obviously he was there. Oh yes, I saw it with my very own journo eyes. From start to finish, through the viewfinder of my trusty camera.
Thank you, Menimemo-san. You will now give a formal testimony before the court. You will state exactly what it is that you witnessed of the events surrounding Miss Brett's death.
Nat 20 on this investigation check. Best of luck. Chat was already the Shadow Realm because you're Eldritch Beings. I have never understood if Chat was the Eldritch Beings or if Chat was, like, chilling with the Eldritch Beings. I don't know. It hasn't been clear. Maybe it's both. The beach hut was made of shoddy old reed screens, so there were plenty of gaps I could see inside through. The English woman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her. Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife, throwing the English woman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back. My smoldering journal spirit burst into flames. Quick as a flash, I whipped out my camera, ready to click. I pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and poked the lens through for the perfect shot. Perfect shot, because he threw a knife at her. Read screens, you say? Right! You can see them clearly enough in that great shot I snapped. So you're admitting that you could be behind the hut. Man, okay. The hut walls were just screens made of coarsely woven reeds. So you were taking pictures of a changing room. That's sus in any world.
Yes, it allows the breeze to pass through and bring some relief from the summer heat.
And it was a breeze for me to poke my camera through and see the whole thing hotting up.
Ignoring for the time being the appalling invasion of privacy involved, did you witness everything that happened from the moment the defendant entered the hut?
Oh yes, I saw it. I saw the whole thing from start to finish. Yeah, you did.
And you say that you took the photograph through a gap in one of the screens.
Luckily for me, they were pretty shoddily woven. I pulled the reeds apart and thrust the lens of my camera through the gap. Would I get away with it, or would I be seen? It was the gamble of a lifetime.
A tenacity of purpose that's considered admirable in a journalist, I suppose.
Run a risk one day, run a scoop the next. That's Menimemoism in a nutshell.
At last. It would appear we have a genuine witness to this wicked crime. The evidence and testimony are extremely compelling. I believe we may be close to a verdict.
No. Just saying, if the only evidence is that she's the only one who could have done it, we have just... Okay, like, you guys... Okay, I trust the chat is smart enough to pick up what I've been putting down this entire time. So I'm not gonna say it again.
Wonderful news, Your Excellency, wonderful!
Nevertheless, it cannot be denied that this testimony begs one very large question.
What question?
Exclusive news. A startling photograph. All the makings of an exceptional story for the reporter. Why, then, was the story never published?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, too.
That's right.
Yeah?
It seems clear to me that there are circumstances at play here that are yet to be understood.
More pathetic excuses.
Very well then, counsel. Proceed with your cross-examination.
You just been listening? No, that's fair.
Yes, Your Excellency.
I'm sure that eventually I'll hit another box rant.
There's more to this reporter than meets the eye.
Probably not in the first case, though. First case is usually pretty straightforward.
He's keeping something about this case very close to his chest. Like his camera, or his suspenders, or that pen that he doesn't have.
Oh wait, what was his name? Raiten Menimemo? RM? Yeah, his pen. On that boxer team. Let me write that down, because I did actually forget about it. I remembered a couple of things, but I forgot many of them. I have a notepad for this. Box. I'm sure I'll know what that means if I just say box. Okay. The camera never lies. Okay. Like, this is already sus, right? What can I use? What can I say? I mean, I can just say, this is your pen. Colonel, I'm in a box. Colonel, this guy's a liar. Colonel, he's so bad at lying. I mean, like... I'll just press everything because I don't think I have anything, like, that contradicts what he's saying. I have things that contradicts his existence.
Hold it!
What made you want to see what was happening inside the beach hut in the first place?
Call it journo instinct. Can you think of a better reason? Yeah, because if it's journo instinct, then that's also just perversion. I don't think that's against the law yet, but man.
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps because as well as being a proven criminal, the person inside was the—
Oh, cool! She's finally throwing out what I've been putting down this whole time!
Was a young woman.
Ah, I see where you're going with this. Brace yourselves, people. He's painting the journal as a voyeur. Well, yeah, if you had no reason to open it, you know?
It's hardly slander, sir. You had a camera and you were taking pictures without the woman's knowledge.
Nope, you've got it. All wrong, little student boy.
Sorry.
To my mind, all that was inside the hut was a scoop. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, sure, that'll be convincing. That'll hold up in court, except it's going to hold up in court. Scoops know no gender, man or woman, it's all news. That's not even a minimoism, it's basic journalism.
If only the courtroom was as indiscriminate.
Right, so if that's all buttoned up, can we move on? No. Tell the court then, witness, what sight befell your eyes when you looked inside the hut? A sight that vindicated my journo instinct, that's what. When I pulled back the reeds, I could see it all as clear as day. I mean, at least it got brought up. So, like, we know it's wrong. So that's good.
Hold it!
I don't think it would be the statement, honestly. So you actually saw Membami-san entering the hut? Yep, and she was raging like my journo spirit. And the argument you mentioned, what was that about exactly? You stole it! I didn't steal it! That kind of thing.
Talking about the poison, I suppose.
The student girl walked right up to the English woman and really started laying into her. I mean, if she'd laid into her anymore, there would have been eggs. What? I laid eggs, I get it, but also what? The man should have been an author. His descriptive talents are wasted on journalism. But the student's rantings fell on deaf ears like a Japanese person listening to English for the first time.
He really ought to work on his similes first, though, to be honest.
Sexism? I don't know if it's a sexism thing or if it's a this guy is a really weird thing. Would you like an egg in this trying time? Anyway, the point is that woman in the dock was mightily angry. I almost thought I said hungry. And that's why she ate the poison. Anyway.
And her temper finally got the better of her, it seems. Dear me.
Which was the climactic moment that I caught on film. Poisoned eggs, you're right!
Hold it!
Do you swear before this court that you actually saw the precise moment when the stabbing took place? Well, he wouldn't be lying if he said that he did. 'Cause he certainly saw the stabbing. It's just not like he says it is. Ha! The precise moment, I didn't just see just that. I saw the whole hellish scene play out from start to finish.
I have here a simple plan of the beach hut.
Oh wait, I could use that actually.
Perhaps you could use it to explain to the court exactly what you witnessed.
Right you are, it's all here in my Menimemo memo pad.
Menimemo memo pad.
When I first peered into the hut, I'm sure that the English woman was on this stool at the back of the hut here.
Yes, the accused's own testimony confirms that.
Say that 5 times. Menimemo memo pad, Menimemo memo pad, Menimemo memo pad, Menimemo memo pad, Menimemo memo pad. I did nearly lose it a couple times. Ha! I think I did it, unless I counted wrong. I think I counted right. She just sat at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly, is what I have noted down. Does he have a mini memo pad? Many memos, mini memo pad. That would trip me up really badly. Many memos, mini memo pad. I could probably do it. Huh. I don't like it. I also think I'd forget it while saying it. Anyway, it's my turn to testify now. Try not to interrupt. Then, the next moment as I was watching, the evil student girl entered the hut. After a while, the pair of them ended up in the middle of the hut arguing furiously. They danced around. The English woman went for the student, but the girl dodged out of the way. And in a flash plunged the knife into her adversary's back as the two passed each other. What you describe is a grim crime indeed. Oh, stop doing that. Never sugarcoat the truth. Say you broke your camera. And that's what Menimemo... I can say the other thing, but not this. Menimemoism says. Okay, cool. Well, he does have a lot of M's in his name. And by the way, Menimemo-san, whilst you were watching that terrible scene unfold before your eyes through a gap in the screen, did it not occur to you to try to prevent the tragedy rather than capture it on film? Journos have to be observers. We can't get involved. That's all. Raison d'etre? I can't French, guys. Is it raison d'etre? I give up. Raison d'etre. Dieter. Just, if I say it incorrectly, then I know I'm wrong. At least I'll be 100% of something. Oh, hi, June. I'm glad that you're here for me to embarrass myself. So, you didn't converse with Miss Red at all? Obviously not. An observer always remains on the outside looking in.
And that's something to be proud of, is it?
Your Excellency, if I may. Yes, Professor. I think the witness's last, expertly phrased statement should perhaps be added to his formal testimony.
Father, what are you...
The raison d'etre? Am I saying d'etre at least correctly? Because that feels correct, but I also don't have French intuition. I don't have intuition in general, but I especially don't have French intuition, you know?
I will grant the defense's request. Menimemo-san, you will supplement your formal testimony with the aforementioned statement.
Raison d'etre. D'etre? 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 I'm trying to figure out that. Or is it just d'etre? Oh man. Raison. Raison d'etre. Raison d'etre? Okay. Wow, I was really off. Well, nihilism is the foundation of Menimoism, but I'll gladly prove that my words aren't meaningless. Never stepped foot in the hut, nor spoke with the Englishwoman. You were there only as an observer. Well, this has to be something. You were in there, somehow. Well, that's from the outside looking in, so I guess I can't... Can we prove that this is his now? Am I allowed to do that? Because, like... I'm gonna do this.
Objection!
Good! I'm so glad that we can just be like, hey... Menimemo-san, until now I've had a firm belief that newspapers are in the business of uncovering and publishing the truth. You're spot on there! The press doesn't lie, which is why I'm proud to wear the emblem of the Shoyu News on my arm. In a way, that's more Menimoism. Sadly, though, it seems the journalists who write for those papers don't always share the same passion for the truth.
What are you suggesting with those recriminatory words, Counsel?
Menimemo-san, do you recognize this fountain pen? This pen was found at the scene of Miss Brett's death. In fact, the murdered victim was gripping it in her hand as she died. What are you, If you look at the barrel of the pen, you'll notice that its owner's initials are engraved there. R.M.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Counsel. The initials of the accused remember me.
Is it a coincidence, I wonder? That your initials are also R.M.
No!
Daiten Menimemo. R.M. That's horse dung! Can't you see, one of the central tenets of Menimoism is being a pencil user? And yet, as the court will clearly be able to see... Oh my god, we're addressing this! On your right hand, there is a very obvious blue ink stain. That you just, again, never washed off for some reason? Oh no!
It would appear that you must have rather carelessly left it somewhere recently. Your favorite fountain pen, that is.
A horsey horse dung!
Menimemo-san,
Is it not the case that before she died, you met with Giselle Bread in that beach hut?
Objection!
be listening to this absurd nonsense. It's nothing but another excuse.
Exactly. Show you news will stand behind me all the way. I deny everything. There must be as many people with the initials RM as there are stars in the night sky. The defense has neither the time nor the inclination to count every star in the sky. Ooh, dang. And there's no need anyway, because this pen has more to tell. Yes, there is another clue. A clue that undeniably proves who its owner really is. In that case, counsel, the defense will now show the court where this alleged clue lies. Of course, Your Excellency. I'm kind of glad that we don't have to prove it, like, everything step by step by step by step. Like, it's just, I don't know, she just seems a little bit smarter. It's this side. I mean, I think that started happening towards the latter cases in the previous game too, where it's just like, yeah, no, you can make those connections. We believe you. As well as the initials, there is also an emblem on this fountain pen. An emblem that you will, of course, recognize, Menimemo-san. Goodness me, it's the emblem of the Shoyu News! In other words, the owner of this pen is an employee of the Shoyu News, whose initials are RM. Suddenly, the stars in the night sky don't seem so numerous, do they? Well, Menimemo-san, how do you respond?
No!
The soy sauce news? Yes. They're getting the sauce. Order! Order! Explain yourself, witness! So, this is how the mighty Supreme Court works, is it? Using coercive tactics to have well-meaning citizens reveal harmless secrets. I've used nothing but honest tactics. Alright then, fine. I won't try to hide it anymore. Yes, not long before that grim tragedy unfolded, I, a Shoyu news reporter on behalf of the public, conducted an interview with the Englishwoman. An interview?
You never mentioned this before!
Also, he committed perjury, right? When exactly was this? As I said, it was before that evil little student girl showed her face in the hut. Yeah, he committed perjury. That's still a crime, right? It couldn't have lasted more than 2 or 3 minutes, that's all. It was just a brief exchange. 2 or 3 minutes is still 2 or 3 minutes of perjury. But it came to nothing, and as we many memoists say, the people don't pay their dues for unworthy news. Yeah, no one... The only person who got charged with perjury is Gina. Gina genuinely got put into jail for the perjury that she committed. Perjury and, like, also, like, obstruction of justice as well. But, like, that's the only time. They've only cared about perjury when it was the defendant, yeah. However insignificant you deem it to be, this court cannot overlook the meeting between yourself and the victim. You will testify now under oath about the precise nature of this meeting and what transpired. Got it, yes, all right, but on one condition. You let me go free! Don't convict me for perjury! Have they not been under oath the whole time? You'd think, right? Huh. Haven't gotten live notification for weeks. Twitch is a bit weird, isn't it?
Condition? You...
Okay. In all good conscience, I couldn't speak out alone about this. You need to call back the earlier witness, Souseki Natsume-san. Souseki-san? Oh yes, according to my notes here, that man has a secret of his own, and brace yourselves, because it's not a harmless one, it's big.
What?
What? Oh, is he trying to pin it on Souseki-san? Poor guy. He's already been framed. Menimemoism states that one man's secret is every other man's front page story. so messed up, but like, I guess he's honest. Well, sort of. He's honest somewhat.
Very well, I will grant the witness's request in this instance.
Oh yeah, I hate this guy. He picked up the knife, got scared, and then the knife went flying from a random window.
Officer, summon the earlier witness back to the stand.
Soseki-san hiding something.
It was a cat! There was a cat in the hut too. The cat did it. Oh, this poor man. Oh, there goes all of his confidence. And a baby. Ah, dang it, not again. I asked the Englishwoman for an interview, but she declined, so I left the hut without making a fuss. Then, watching secretly from outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witnesses come running. The detective realized that the victim still had a pulse, so he ran off to fetch help. That's when this writer man here asked the woman a very significant question. But he didn't say anything about that in his testimony, which is why Menimemo demands I reveal it now!
You mean to say that the victim...
The victim regained consciousness.
well...
And what you did, you decided to ask her a question.
Do you like cats?
That's true, yes.
He did, and that's not all. The woman gave him a very definite answer. An answer that incriminates the accused.
Why was that never brought up?
This is preposterous! Why am I only hearing about this now? Why didn't you mention this before, you yokel hack?
It wasn't even a conversation! Yes, I did pose the withering English rose a question, I don't deny it. But she could no longer speak. She was barely conscious even. Counsel for the defense, I expect a thorough cross-examination to be conducted here. This court must and will know the truth.
Absolutely, Your Excellency. The reporter is claiming that Miss Brett implicated Ray somehow. What on earth could have happened in that hut?
A lot more than what we thought. Okay. Oh wait, am I not allowed to find out what was asked? I'm gonna go press that statement immediately. Not here. That's not important. Okay, it's either this one or this one. Okay. It's here.
Hold it!
What was the question? What question? What exactly did he say? Oh, well now, you should hear that from the horse's mouth, I think. Don't you, Mr. Retterman?
Out with it, you yokel hack! What did you say to her? What did you say to the dying Englishwoman?
Well, in truth, I'd been catching crabs at the water's edge and building castles in the sand, you see. Well, the seaside is a place to be at leisure, I suppose. Even for a grown man. But then all of a sudden, from that little beach hut, a young girl's panic-stricken cries for help pierced the air.
Ray.
I ran up the beach to see what was happening, to find the defendant leaning over the collapsed victim. As soon as Inspector Hosonaga saw Miss Brett on the ground, he sprinted off to get help. And then, just a moment later, I heard a faint moan. A moan from the dead Englishwoman. She was a ghost! I nearly jumped out of my skin!
But what did you ask her, Soseki-san?
I asked her, who did this to you? Don't protract this any longer. How did the woman respond? She didn't! She said nothing in response. But...
Yeah?
When in the stand, you will answer the questions asked if you
No one listens to this! Judge, please, no one listens to this one.
Now, without evasion or reticence, I demand that you amend your testimony. I will! I asked her who did this to you, but she never replied.
Ah. Well, I guess we'll find out what she answered later. Well, she didn't actually answer. But I shall be right back. I might get a refill on my tea. Stretch. Alright. I shall return. Take care of yourselves as well. Be good, no knife with you this time. A tea fill, exactly. Hello, I return with a tea fill. So,
Can I do anything with the statement?
she never replied. I asked her to do this to her. I mean... What? Within minutes. Huh. Can I press this statement again? Oh my god, Apache. Maybe...
Hold it!
So, you tried to find out who the culprit was. He who asks the question is a fool for a minute. He who does not remember remains a fool forever. And having been labeled a criminal twice during my time in Great Britain, I was quick to make up my mind.
Better to be a fool for a minute than remain a fool imprisoned forever.
However, you've indicated that the victim failed to respond. Is that correct?
I know why the Englishwoman said nothing. She was ignoring me! Because of my stupid mustache, because I'm Japanese!
Well, she was racist.
Oh dear. Soseki-san has really developed a dislike for the English, it seems.
Oh, good.
Having read the report on his time in Great Britain, I can't say I'm surprised, as is xenophobia.
Yeah, the man went through the ringer. Oh no, that's too hot to drink. That is way too hot to drink. Okay. But the Englishwoman didn't ignore you at all. Did she, Mr. Writerman?
Well, yes, alright. She did respond in a manner of speaking, I suppose. She just lifted a trembling finger and pointed in the direction of the defendant.
What? Do I have to press all of these? Miss Brett pointed a finger at the defendant. Soseki-san, is that really true?
It's not easy to stand here and say this, but when we first entered the beach hut, the Englishwoman was sprawled on the floor before us, with the student girl standing on the far side of her. And when I asked who did this to you, the Englishwoman summoned her last ounce of strength to point at a trembling finger at the back of the hut.
You mean like the direction where the knife could have been from?
Which was, it can't be denied, in the direction of the student girl who stands accused today.
No.
Soseki-san, why on earth did you neglect to mention this in your original testimony? By fiddlesticks, I say! This is not a British court of law. You will respond in Japanese. Yes, of course, the Englishwoman did point her finger towards the back of the hut, but I was trembling, and she was trembling, and everything was a blur. And thinking about it, I feel as though perhaps she was pointing in a slightly different direction. Actually, no, not slightly, in a very different direction to where the student girl was standing.
We appreciate you, Soseki.
To somewhere at the back of the hut, where nobody was standing at all!
You mean that your memory of events and the direction in which the victim was pointing are both unclear?
Yes, that's it, unclear! I'm very, very unclear.
Well, you're right.
Objection!
Your Excellency, surely this proves the matter beyond all reasonable— He just said he doubts his own eyes!
He just said that he doubted it.
Yes, the woman may barely have been conscious, and yes, perhaps her finger wavered slightly. But there can be no doubt that this was an attempt by the victim to confirm the identity of her assailant. Why? Because, as the court can see, there was no one other than the accused in the direction of the victim was pointing.
Yeah, except for the photographer!
It is now abundantly clear that no one besides the accused could possibly have committed this crime.
I am inclined to agree. And in the absence of any credible argument to the contrary, I believe we can now conclude this trial.
No!
No! No! The headline's writing itself. Dashing lawyers hopes dashed. 92 point across the whole page. We'll do an extra edition.
This is a serious blow, Susato. Unless we're able to identify the true culprit and substantiate our claim with evidence, the judge will give his ruling and the trial will be over.
But that's impossible, Father. We don't even know how the crime was committed yet.
Impossible though the task may seem, we have no choice. We must think back over everything we've learned thus far. Somewhere, I just realized that my mic is a lot closer to me than it usually is. Okay. Somewhere in all those details, I'm confident we'll find the clue we need.
Ray gave us her account of how events unfolded in the defendant's antechamber before the trial resumed. She told us what happened at the precise moment Miss Brett was killed.
The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. And then a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back. How could Miss Brett have been stabbed in the back in a beach hut that was empty but for herself and Ray?
Because the walls weren't walls? So hello.
Somewhere amid all the information we've gathered so far, there must be an answer to that question.
I take it then that the defense has nothing further to add.
So the gallant yokel student's luck finally runs out. I can't say I'm surprised.
Swan Lady is dead and Susato is a... No, that's Ryutaro Naruhodo. Like, that's obviously Ryunosuke's cousin. Definitely. And not Susato. Absolutely not. I don't know what you're talking about.
In that case, I am ready to deliver my final verdict on this matter.
This is a crucial turning point now. If I can't establish what really happened, it's over. Where was the real culprit hiding? How did they stab the victim?
It's behind the... Come on. I don't know if I have proof, though.
Your Excellency, I respectfully ask you to postpone your adjudication for the time being.
Oh, to what end, counsel?
The defense would like to present the court with an alternative theory. An alternative theory that can explain who the victim was actually trying to implicate with her dying gesture.
Objection!
An alternative theory? None exists.
Objection!
There was someone else present at the scene who could have committed this crime.
What?
And the victim, Miss Brett, tried to reveal who it was to those around her at the time by mustering all her remaining strength and pointing a trembling finger in the killer's direction.
This is fiction! Fantasy!
Very well, as you seem so sure of yourself, counsel. I am prepared to hear your alternative theory. So, young Ryutaro Naruhodo,
Yes, Your Excellency.
you will present your latest theory to the court by means of this plan. At the moment the victim was stabbed, where exactly are you proposing the culprit was concealed?
Behind. Like, somewhere on the outside. I don't know exactly where, but like, you know.
Take that!
Naruhodo-san would never give up. And I'm a Naruhodo now. The true culprit who fatally stabbed Miss Brett was concealed in this location here.
Are you mad, counsel? You're suggesting the culprit was outside the hut!
The culprit was the knife!
What?
Order! 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 But student lawyer Naruhodo-san Esquire, that makes no sense at all!
He's still calling us that.
You've just pointed out the exact spot where I was hiding to get my scoop snap.
Yeah. Thanks for admitting it. But I didn't see any suspicious individuals loitering about. I can swear to that. Yeah.
Obviously, if the culprit had been outside the hut, there's no way that they could have stabbed the victim who was inside the hut.
Actually, Prosecutor Aochi, there is a way. And, in point of fact, the defense can provide evidence strongly suggesting that is precisely the way Miss Brett was killed.
You're bluffing! You're bluffing, you yokel!
The defense's assertion is clearly too fantastical for the court to comprehend. You will need to give us more guidance, counsel. What piece of evidence corroborates your theory that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut?
So this photograph shows that the walls can be moved.
Take that!
So. What?
Well, I've presented it now. But I haven't the first idea. What? Why? What do you mean?
It's because you can move the walls! So you... Is that... Okay.
Counsel, you're suggesting that this piece of evidence bears out your theory as to how the victim was stabbed.
It's something of a windfall, Your Excellency.
I think the word you were looking for, Counsel, was downfall. But like,
If your theory is correct and the knife was thrust into Miss Brett's back from outside the hut, then there should be a visible trace somewhere.
A trace, yes, on the hut itself. Armed with that idea, I must look through the court record again. Okay, different piece of evidence. Alright, let's see. Let's take a little closer look. Is there something on the hut itself? A knife gun? I think that's just a less effective gun, right? Okay, it would have to be on the hut. I would think then it would have to be one of these pictures. Cause like, there's literally a space here, is that it? No shot, is that really it? Is it because this one has a space on it? Even though this one shows it being literally peeled back? It can't be, right?
Take that!
Oh my god, it is. It's because there's a little... Thanks, Mandarin, for invading my brain. There's a little gap. Anyway.
The original photographic print of the crime scene. Wow.
Yes, it's clearly visible in this print. The trace of the fatal thrust that was delivered from outside the beach hut.
Objection!
do you take us for fools? There's no hint of any such thing.
I'm not sure that everyone present would agree. Someone at least appears to have noticed what it is that I'm referring to.
Counsel, once again, I must call on you to be explicit for the court. Where on this photograph is the trace of the stabbing which you claim took place from outside the hut.
So, like, it's the gap, yeah? Right?
Take that!
Okay, it is. Look closely just here. In the screen at the back of the hut, you can see the effects of a blade having been forced through the reeds.
No, I can't. I can't see any such thing.
Get better glasses. It's true that the hut in question had 4 walls, as you'd expect. However, by parting the reeds, a knife blade could easily penetrate them. Okay, but the other picture is even better at showing it because you showed that it parted enough that you could fit a camera lens through it. Like, I feel like the other one is better evidence, but okay.
This is extraordinary. I haven't heard of the reeds being parted, or the fact that the guy brought up that the walls were reeds.
Yes. The true culprit actually stabbed the victim from outside the beach hut. And of everyone present at the scene, there was only one person who could have done that. Only one person who was directly outside the hut when Miss Brett was killed. Right, and Menimemo-san, it can only have been you!
No!
Objection!
Why are you objecting now?
This preposterous idea leaves me almost speechless. Just look at the photograph again. The victim lies almost exactly in the center of the beach hut, does she not? Are we to assume, as part of this farcical scenario, that the assailant was a knife thrower?
Objection!
No, of course not.
We're not? Oh, that would have been fun.
If you recall the testimony of the defendant about the events just before the victim's death. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable.
A stool?
Have another look at the photograph. The slit in the reed screen would align perfectly with the back of a person who was sitting on that stool.
My word! So in fact, the victim was...
killed whilst sitting on that stool by a stab wound to her back delivered through the reed screen.
Ah!
Having been attacked, Miss Brett rose to her feet instinctively. But then, unable to speak, she collapsed on the floor in the middle of the hut, before the defendant, Membami-san's appalled eyes. And that, Your Excellency, is the truth of what happened on the beach that day. Also, it looks like there's literally blood on the wall. Oh my god, wait, really? Oh, it's so hard to tell in this photograph. I'll take your word for it, though. Too bad everything's black and white. By your silence, Menimemo-san, I take it that you don't deny the charge. Did the swan... yeah, the swan died too! I think we have to assume that it was a symbiotic relationship.
This is, absurd!
I was really hoping that the dollop would fly off his head.
That will do! It would appear that we have a tacit admission of guilt from the witness. Accordingly, this court has successfully established the truth of this matter.
They're gonna bring up the poison at some point. They've gotta. Because that never got resolved.
Which means that the defendant, Membami-san, is innocent of the crime.
Oh, thank goodness. No, there's no way we won this easily. There's no way. I don't believe this. I finally made him cave.
I must say, I've never been more proud.
No, this can't be. The Algae clan can't. What of my growth of hope? It wasn't all an apparition. I can't accept this. I won't.
I see no reason for the continuance of this trial. I will therefore move to conclude proceedings by delivering my final...
There it is. The reporter, right? Well, this is all very convenient. This is how the highest court in our mighty empire delivers justice, is it? Suppressing well-meaning citizens' freedom to speak and branding them as criminals. But we've established that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut through the reed screen walls.
And no one but you was in place at the time to have this hand on the hilt of the blade. It's a perfectly logical deduction.
So, your argument hinges on the location of whoever stabbed the Englishwoman, does it? Well, it seems a little irrelevant now. Irrelevant? Where she was stabbed, how she was stabbed. It doesn't matter. I mean, whether she was stabbed at all makes no difference if you think about it. After all, this trial's already shown the whole thing hinges on something else. What are you talking about? Brace yourself, little man. I'm talking about the fact that everything's changed. Because of the dirt you dug up. What?
Enough obscurity. Explain yourself, witness.
Oh, what's to explain? I'm talking about the poison, of course.
The poison?
Let's ask the professor for a comment on the situation, shall we? I understand that a deadly poison you were developing was stolen from your laboratory, correct? And it's been shown that this poison was administered to the victim, Miss Barrett. Is that right?
That is correct. The unusual constriction of the victim's pupils are a sure sign that this particular poison was used.
I see, so presumably that means that the victim already had the poison in her body before she was stabbed. Okay, but like, stabbing her again, even if the poison was in her body, is still a crime, right? Right? Like, you still put a knife in her. Okay.
Given that her pupils were clearly constricted, it seems highly likely, yes. If she had been dead already, the poison could not have circulated in her blood.
Even Archie's is so done with this. Unless he isn't. Okay, never mind, he's just gonna be a jerk about this.
How refreshing to hear the argument of a metropolitan mind.
Precisely, it matters not a jot who What do you mean? Stabbing someone is a crime!
Who stabbed whom and who's back and with whose blade? Because quite simply, the Englishwoman's life was taken not by the knife, but by the poison.
Objection!
Please just say, but stabbing someone is still a crime, right? Okay. But that can be explained by the poison... Girl. Being on the blade, as I already...
Objection!
Forgotten already, have we, Yoko? During these very proceedings, the laboratory of the professor at your side assisted in proving that the blade of the weapon used to attack the victim had no trace of poison on it whatsoever.
I'd never survive in the right world. Either I'd be the most successful lawyer there, or I would just simply evaporate. I don't think I would commit a crime, I would just evaporate. So, let me get this down. The facts as skillfully established by the defense in this trial turn out to be a headline-making red herring. Is that about right? No. Well... Order! 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 But where does this leave us? How, in that case, did the poison enter the victim's body? They'd kill me first because I have sense. Ah, shoot, you're right. Okay, I just avoid all crime and become a hermit in the woods. There is an undeniable answer, obvious answer to it. The lady most likely imbibed it. You mean she drank it? Have another look at the photograph here. As you can see. Oh my god, it's from the wine glass! It's from the wine glass that she stole from the restaurant and never gave back! A bottle of carbonated water and a glass had been knocked onto the sandy floor on the beach hut. I don't know if it's carbonated water. It has color. I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be wine. Poison could have been slipped into either.
So, somebody made Miss Brett drink it.
Oh shoot, you're right. Becoming a hermit in the woods is a red flag. I should make a base at the bottom of the ocean. Well, what do you know? Look at those dashing eyes. This will make a great front page shot. Hey, why the bewitching stare? After all, I'm the last person you should be looking at. It would make no sense at all that I poisoned the woman, would it? I mean, that's been established already.
Hold it!
No, it hasn't. Established? What are you talking about? More like Menimemo. Alright. Don't tell me you've forgotten. Meow. Meow. I think you mean like a nya. It's like nya. Menimemo. And that's a little hard to believe given that the person who established it was you!
Me? What on earth does he mean?
Ooh, let me capture those wide eyes. This is prime press fodder, this is. Nya. It would seem that this trial is not destined to end yet, after all. I hereby call upon the witness to give further testimony. That's great, that is. Let me get a shot of that magnificent beard, Your Excellency. Claim it to be impossible. I'm glad that he's just ignoring all of that. Claim it to be impossible that you were the one responsible for administering the poison to the victim. You will explain to the court in your testimony the basis upon which you make such a claim. I'm a journo and I'm a man. I've never tried to run or hide from anything in my life. And I'm not about to start now because that's Menimoism.
For a brief moment, I thought I'd illuminated the truth. For a brief moment, I thought I'd illuminated the truth. But it slipped right back into obscurity again. Just where is this trial going to take us?
To the depths of hell and beyond. Complete innocence, huh? Oh, yes, I stabbed the Englishwoman, and it's that very fact that proves I'm innocent. I don't think you can call a stabbing, like, friendly. Like, there's no world where this isn't a... Like, so, like, desecration of a corpse, and she wasn't dead yet at that time, by the way. She died later, so, like, stabbing a dying woman is not... he's not a surgeon, you know? It just... This is still absolutely a crime. Because why would I have bothered to stab the woman if I've already poisoned her? When I heard the student girl and that pompous English murderer arguing, it got my goat. If the courts weren't going to punish Brett for what she did, someone else would have to see the justice done. Cool, he just gave out the fact that he had a motive. So, you admit it then? That everything happened as I described? That you are the one who stabbed Miss Brett in the back through the read screen? You can blame this miserable country of ours. No, I'm gonna blame you. A country that bows to the pressure of foreign powers and lets murderers walk free. What kind of future can a country like that have? And that's why I did it. I did what our pathetic leaders didn't have the guts to do. Slap bang in the middle of that charming lady's back, I plunged the blade of sweet justice right in there. Spider-Man doesn't kill people. Spider-Man, but, you know, the bad one. Alternate universe Spider-Man. As someone who spends his life seeing that the truth is told, I feel really, really awful about giving false information to my testimony before. You know what? Maybe this guy is Marvel rival Spider-Man, because that Spider-Man is a menace. But as it turns out, there was somebody else who had it in for the victim and got to her before me. That's right, you guessed it. That pretty little student girl. Now there's a woman after my own heart. Stop hitting on her. You're implicating Ray again. She's the one who gave the poison to the Englishwoman and ended her pitiful existence. And suddenly, snap! This journo here is off the hook. No, you still stabbed her! But like... Okay, so me having a breakdown later on saying it wouldn't happen in the first case, maybe I'm wrong. The argument is sound. Certainly. If the witness had administered the poison himself, he need only have waited for it to take effect. That's not true. Because she knows the poison. And she would have had the... Wouldn't she have had an antidote or something? Or... I'm trying to figure out how the... No, that only identifies the poison, huh? This isn't a cure. Like, what does this do? Can I... Oh, I haven't actually examined it. What does this do?
The label appears to be written in a foreign language that I don't know.
It's German, so your knowledge of English is going to be of little help here, I'm afraid.
Couldn't you just have written medicine on it in Japanese? Then we'd all be able to read it.
German is the international language of medicine, my dear. But yes, I can certainly see the merit in labeling the bottle in Japanese. Though I'm not sure medicine would be entirely appropriate.
Yeah, because this isn't medicine. This is just a reagent to see where the thing was. So never mind. I was about to be like, oh, but if she was like administering like, you know, first aid, because she would be one of the few people who could save her. I'll figure it out.
And therefore, this reporter had nothing to do with the poisoning. Yes, it's all quite logical.
Have we examined the knife? Ooh, you got a point, actually. Let me take a look at that. Kniffy. Hello, Kniffy. Is it just the blood?
Ah, yes. This must be the victim's blood.
Dear, blood is never a pretty sight, is it? Having to fight the urge to run it under a hot tap and get it clean.
You've always been fastidious about cleanliness, haven't you?
I think this is something else, Father.
Is there anything else on here? Nothing of note, it looks like. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, this wouldn't have anything to examine for additional information. Alright. We already know that the poison is not on the knife, because that's what they investigated. And that's right, it is logical and true. I'm glad you've all seen the light. And justice at last!
This is unbelievable. And after I'd made so much progress in proving his guilt, is he going to get away with it now?
No, he isn't.
Think of Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san. They never stopped looking for a way forward until the judge's final gavel.
The poison is untraceable? Correct. It normally is, except the lab that was making it, was studying it, did have a reagent that actually worked with it. So it's I don't know. Untraceable until it wasn't. Very well then, counsel. Proceed with what I assume to be your final cross-examination in this trial. I love how he assumes. Because at this point, saying that it's a final one is just such a red herring every single time.
Yes, Your Excellency.
Alright, let's dance this dance again.
Hold it!
Am I allowed to say that that's a crime?
So, you do admit that you had murderous intentions toward Miss Brett? Towards Miss Brett, then?
The woman's very existence offended my sense of justice.
Your sense of...
He's claiming some sort of righteous indignation?
She was pure evil, a cold-blooded killer who'd committed murder right a year on our empire soil. Yeah, it's like still second degree, yeah? But did our good-for-nothing government do anything? Not a chance, so I had to step in. Fly the flag of justice, put things right for the people. Yes, it was my civic duty. That's what drove me to do it.
So, in summary, murderous intentions, then.
Whatever you want to call it, the point is this. That Englishwoman was a blight. So I had to do what was right for society. Yet a real wrong was done by the student girl in the dock. A crime for which she must pay. Obviously, because the poisoning was nothing to do with me at all.
Okay, I feel like it would have to be this one. But I don't think I have, like... So, you still maintain that you didn't give the poison to the victim?
Obviously, that'd be like putting a belt on your trousers when you were already wearing braces like these. The accused administered the poison, following which this witness stabbed the victim.
Oh, so you're admitting that a poison was in...
An unforgivable act, certainly, but not one of murder. But, like, if it was murderous intentions, that's still, like... That still counts for something. That crime rests on the accused's shoulders. That is how the law works, you see, yokel. Who knows, you may even learn something here today.
2 consecutive attempts on her life in the space of minutes. Quite a day for the victim.
Do something that evil and you've got it coming. That's how the law works, the law of reckoning.
That's not the kind of law this court upholds. You will reiterate why you were compelled to stab the victim then, witness.
Hold it!
Your goat? What exactly were they arguing about?
About what happened in that restaurant 9 months ago, that's what. The student girl was laying into the Englishwoman for killing her beloved mentor, Dr. Wilson.
Yes, John H. Wilson. A professor of medicine invited here from England by Professor Mikotoba, no less.
Right, but the Englishwoman just jeered. Her case was to be heard by the British Consular Court in Shanghai, but... However, there was little doubt that she would simply have been acquitted and sent back to her homeland a free woman. It was eating that student girl up inside, you could see it. I really felt for her.
Oh?
I can't. I can't stand here and listen to this tripe.
Right.
Young girl, you stand accused here. You can't just blurt out whenever you feel like it.
No, you can't. Yeah, but you haven't been abiding by anything anyway.
Sorry, but I'm in the middle of some very important testimony here. Just keep quiet and listen.
But this awful man is making all of this up.
Ah, no, don't say Susato!
Susato, please, you have to make them listen.
Return to the dock at once, Membami-san. We're in the middle of a cross-examination.
Hold it!
Your Excellency, please, I implore you. That journalist is clearly not a trustworthy witness.
Exactly. He's a filthy, rotten, black-hearted, bigoted, dirty, great peeping Tom!
Whoa, take it easy there. Please, I really think the court should hear what the defendant has to say.
Your Excellency, I see no need whatsoever to entertain the accused's remarks.
Do it.
Yeah! Let's go!
Judge W!
I will grant the request of the defense.
But, Your Excellency!
The guy is a peeping Tom. This is likely to be the final cross-examination of these proceedings.
And Sosaki's just there. Yeah.
As such, I believe we would be well advised to stifle the defendant's obvious concerns.
Judge is the real goat here. Listen, just like, no, he was kind of a peeping Tom. You know what? Yeah. We'll hear her out. Let's go.
So, whilst recognizing that this contravenes regular protocol, I hereby call upon the defendant to speak.
Oh. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
We appreciate. Father Christmas is great. Here's the thing. Father Christmas was also kind of a goated judge. Like, very, very fair, and I will give that to him. Like, yes, in the beginning he was a little racist, but also everyone was. He got over that pretty quickly, and I will respect that. But, on the other hand, I believe I have a bit of a strict cutoff today, but I believe that's enough for today. Or rather, not but so. So, I think that's a pretty good place to end it. Goated judge, let's go. And I'll be back tomorrow, too, so don't you worry.
I found the perfect cliffhanger!
Anyway. Cross-examine the turtle. The turtle knows all.
The turtle was in your walls the whole time.
Okay, let me see who I can go and raid. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Not the airplane thing again.
Oh, thanks. Oh, you know what? Baldur's Gate 3 was brought up earlier. So, Flannel Pizza, my good friend, is streaming. Oh, that's not Baldur's Gate. I'm an idiot. It looked like Baldur's Gate from the thumbnail. But I'm still probably gonna rate him anyway, so. I have no idea what Sons of the Forest is, but I'm sure it's a chaotic thing. I don't know. Oh man, I can't wait for Sholmes to come back so that we can use the Sholmes troll more appropriately. I was trying to make it in time for this game, because afterwards it kind of loses relevance. Happy you like the emotes. I'm still working on a couple. Well, one static one, then I have to start figuring out the other ones. But yeah, working.
Ah. Hello?
7 TV emotes one? 7 TV emotes?
Wait, what's that? I don't know what that is.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'll look into it, question mark? Regardless, thank you guys for hanging out. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Another BTTV emote deal. I think it's something that's not like compatible with Mix It Up yet. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think it's like a compatibility thing. Like Mix It Up is constantly getting updates, so like it's one of the things on their like really huge work list. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. I will be back tomorrow. I might have already said that at usual time, so not at 6, at 7, or 4. Yeah. Bye, June!
And yeah, take care. Bye-bye.